Many years ago, in a distant land called Egypt, there lived a people who carried an ancient promise in their hearts. These people were called Israel. They were descendants of a man named Abraham, to whom God had promised a great nation. But as the years passed, the Israelites were no longer free. They lived as slaves. Every day the sun rose over the hot desert, and even before its light touched the pyramids of Egypt, Israelite men, women, and young people were already working. Some carried enormous stones. Others mixed mud and straw to make bricks. Egyptian guards watched everything, whips in their hands. The suffering was great. Their backs were tired. Their hands were wounded, and their hearts were full of sorrow. But in the midst of pain, something never disappeared: hope. Many nights, after a long day of work, families gathered in silence. Parents told their children about the God of their ancestors, a powerful God, a God who makes promises. And they prayed, "God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob," they said, "look upon the suffering of your people." And God heard them, the chosen man. In another place, far from Egypt, there lived a man named Moses. Moses was not an ordinary man. He had grown up in the palace of Egypt itself, but his story was filled with mystery. When he was just a baby, his mother placed him in a basket and set him on the waters of the Nile River to save him from a cruel decree of Pharaoh. Pharaoh's daughter found the baby and decided to raise him as a prince. But Moses never forgot who he truly was. Years later, Moses fled Egypt and began living in the desert as a shepherd. It was there that something extraordinary happened. One day, while leading his flock near Mount Horeb, Moses saw something impossible: a bush that was burning with fire, yet it was not consumed. Curious, he approached. Then he heard a voice. "Moses, Moses." Frightened, he answered, "Here I am." The voice continued, "I am the God of your fathers. I have seen the suffering of my people in Egypt. I have heard their cry, and I have come down to deliver them." Moses was speechless. Then God said something that would change everything. "I will send you to Pharaoh." Moses trembled. "Me? How can I set these people free?" But God replied, "I will be with you." Moses before Pharaoh. Moses returned to Egypt accompanied by his brother Aaron. Together they entered Pharaoh's palace. The king of Egypt was powerful and proud. He ruled one of the greatest empires on earth. Moses spoke boldly. "This is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says, 'Let my people go.'" Pharaoh laughed. "Who is this God that I should obey him?" Not only did he refuse, he made the lives of the Israelites even harder. But God began to act. One after another, plagues fell upon Egypt. The river turned to blood. Frogs invaded the houses. Clouds of insects covered the land. Diseases struck the animals. Darkness covered the country. Even so, Pharaoh's heart remained hard until the final plague came. And at last, broken by the pain, Pharaoh said, "Go, leave Egypt." The Great Escape. That night, something that had never happened before began. Entire families gathered their few belongings. Elderly people walked leaning on staffs. Children held their parents' hands. Flocks joined the group. It was an enormous crowd. For the first time in generations, they were free. Moses walked ahead of the people, and God guided them. During the day, a pillar of cloud went before them. At night, a pillar of fire lit their way. It was as if heaven itself was showing them the direction. But something unexpected was about to happen. Pharaoh's decision. Back in the palace of Egypt, Pharaoh began to think. Silence filled the city. Without the Hebrew slaves, who would do the heavy work? Who would build the cities? His heart filled with anger. "What have we done?" he said to his officials. "We have let Israel go." Then he gave an order. "Prepare the war chariots." Hundreds of chariots were gathered. Armed soldiers prepared themselves. The most powerful army of that time began to march. Pharaoh was determined to bring the Israelites back, trapped at the sea. Meanwhile, the people of Israel continued walking. But one day something terrifying happened. Ahead of them was the Red Sea. Deep waters. No boats. No bridges. Then someone looked back. On the horizon rose a cloud of dust. The sound of horses. The shine of weapons. It was the Egyptian army. The people panicked. "We're doomed. Why did you bring us here to die in the desert?" Some began to cry. Others trembled with fear. But Moses remained firm. He raised his voice and said, "Do not be afraid. Stand firm and see the deliverance the Lord will bring you today." The miracle begins. God spoke to Moses. "Why are you crying out to me? Tell the people to move forward." Then God gave a surprising command. "Raise your staff over the sea." Moses walked to the edge of the water. The wind began to blow, slowly at first, then stronger, much stronger. Night fell, and the wind kept blowing. The waters began to move, and then something impossible happened. The sea began to divide. The waters rose like giant walls on both sides, and in the middle a dry path appeared. The people stood in silence. Moses stepped in first. The people began to follow him. Children stared in amazement at the walls of water. Fish swam inside the liquid walls. The wind kept blowing as thousands of people crossed the sea. It was like walking through a corridor of water. Step by step they crossed, but behind them the Egyptian army arrived. The end of the army. Pharaoh saw the open path. Without hesitation, he ordered, "Forward!" The chariots entered the sea. Horses galloped between the walls of water. But something began to happen. The wheels of the chariots started to jam. The ground became heavy. The soldiers began to realize something terrible. Their God is fighting for them. But it was too late. When the last Israelite reached the other side, God spoke again to Moses. "Stretch out your hand over the sea." Moses raised his staff. The wind stopped. The waters began to return. The liquid walls collapsed. The sea returned to its place, and the mighty Egyptian army disappeared beneath the waters. Freedom. When the sun rose, the people of Israel saw the sea calm again. They were free. Finally free. Moses lifted his hands and began to sing. All the people joined him. Miriam, Moses' sister, took a tambourine and began to dance. They sang, "The Lord is strong and mighty. He has thrown the horse and its rider into the sea." The desert echoed with joy, because on that day the impossible had happened. God had opened the sea, and an entire people had crossed into freedom. Reflection. This story reminds us that in life we often face our own Red Seas, problems that seem too big, moments of fear, uncertainty about the future, or situations that seem to have no way out. But the message of this story is clear and powerful. When we trust in God, He can open paths when no one imagined they existed. The miracle of the Red Sea was not only about crossing a sea. It was about learning that faith can turn the impossible into reality. May this story inspire us to have courage in difficult moments, to keep hope when everything seems lost, and to remember that just as God guided Moses and the people of Israel, He can also guide us in our own journey. If this story touched your heart, leave it in the comments and share it so that more people can learn about this powerful moment in the Bible.